Pre-order Mad as Hell on iTunes. Click the link below.
A Quick Stop owner in Miami put up 16 surveillance cameras around his store, not because he wanted to keep himself safe, but because he believed that cops were racially profiling his employees and doing unnecessary stops and frisks. The plural version of it sounds weird. But anyway, what he was able to document was a year's worth of harassment from police officials. At least that's what he's alleging. And just to give you one specific example of that, there's this one employee he has. He's a 28-year-old by the name of Earl Sampson, and he has been stopped by cops 258 times in 4 years. And he's been searched more than 100 times and arrested 56 times. Now, there was only one time where he was actually charged with something, and it was a low-level marijuana possession charge. However, all the other times he was arrested, it was for trespassing. Keep in mind, he works there as a clerk. Yeah. So now the Quick Stop owner is filing.
That many times without doing something about it. Like, I mean,
a black person. That's what
happens. Yeah, because what are you going to do about it? Yeah. I mean, you don't have any money. Like you don't have the money to hire a team of lawyers and stuff and go after the guys.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Unbelievable. Now, Alex Saleh, he's the person who owns the Quick Stop, says that he is going to file a federal civil rights lawsuit, and I think that he should, especially if he has a year's worth of surveillance indicating that these officers were doing that.
The case is over on Earl Sampson alone.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't stop a guy 1,000 times.
Oh.
So, but what's weird about this story is I heard on Fox News that there was no racism left in the country.
Yeah, it's nice.
So
careful, that guy's getting away with a secret compartment.
I know.
Get after him.
Right. Oh my gosh. Oh my god.
Wow, and that guy works there?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So what'd they do? Just came in and got him?
It looked like he was taking out the garbage for the store, and then they're like, "Oh, you stepped outside and you were black, so come with us." How is that possible? But that's the amazing thing, right? And thank God he videotaped it. Because people wouldn't have believed it. You think they would have believed it? They'd be like, they're just liberals, they're making it, or whatever. Oh, blacks, they're making it up. I don't even know what Alex Saleh is. I don't know what race he is, right? But I'm glad that he was like tired of this nonsense.
He's throwing out the trash.
Right.
It's unbelievable. I love that he has a year's worth of surveillance, because how are you going to argue with that? You know, if he does in fact have that, then there's no way that he's going to lose this case. Look at that cop. It's unbelievable.
I think this cop is just pissed that he's not getting free donuts.
Yeah.
I think that's like the whole story.
Yeah, I think he's juice fasting and he's just in a really
He's just
shitty
a bad mood.
Yeah.
But
it is so messed up, though, honestly.
One more serious thing about this. They arrested him dozens of times, as Anna pointed out, for trespassing in the store that he works. Which means that they knew the first time that it was the store that he worked. After the first time, that at most, like, you go, oh, my bad, I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
That means, oh no, we're gonna harass you to no end for no reason, even though it's not like you're a bum, you're working at that store. I know you're working at that store. I'm gonna come and arrest you for trespassing anyway, along with the 257 other times that I stopped you in the last 4 years. But there's no such thing as racism. There was just, I'm sure it was all wild coincidence, and it never happens anywhere in the country, because I know, because Barack Obama was elected president.
That's right, that's right. And if you want to simply talk about stop and frisk, the way some reasonable people in New York support the law, because the law started at around kind of the same time that crime went down, even though there are enormous other reasons for why crime went down. But you feel safer, and it's a part of aggressive policing, and it's not they're not hitting anybody. So I get why there's an initial reaction of some reasonable New Yorkers to support the law. But it's incredibly short-sighted, because the problem is that there's no recourse to stop it. Like this guy, Earl Sampson. I mean, I was kidding at first, but check, of course you're correct.
Yeah.
What is he going to do? Nothing. And the cop can keep going in there even though he knows it, because here's what is never going to happen. No one is ever going to go up to that cop and say, stop arresting Earl Sampson. There's nothing to be done. All that happens is he arrests Earl Sampson, they search him for drugs, they go, hey, I assume they have some basic reason, like they're like, hey, what are you hearing? There's a couple of break-ins over on 7th Street, who did it? And he's like, I don't know, it was at work, right? And they're like, okay. And they turn him loose, and that's it. And they never have to answer for anybody for that, because what they just did is legal, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
And maybe they think that they're running some drug operation out of the store, and that's why they're bothering the workers, etc. But if the guy's running a drug operation there, it takes some balls on his part to videotape the cops and then sue them in court. You know,
Yeah.
so that's one thing. And even so, when you arrest him for trespassing at his own work, etc., you got nothing on him.
No.
You didn't find anything on him, right? And look, I'm sorry I keep going back to Beverly Hills. They couldn't do it in Beverly Hills. They just couldn't do it. Even if they thought they had the guy, you know? And imagine they go into, Goldman Sachs in New York City and arrest the bankers who did the fraudulent deals, right? And they're like, look, we don't have anything on you because we couldn't prove that it was fraud. But we're going to stop and bring you into the police station 258 times over the next 4 years.
Never happened.
If
Love
a
it.
cop in New York, a progressive cop, just started stopping and frisking bankers.
Oh my
'Cause he
God.
can't-
Do you have the degree to which he would be fired?
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
He'd be fired immediately, like within the first 3
He's
seconds
like, yeah, I'm
of
just
attempting
applying
it.
stop and frisk. You know?
Yeah, if a cop started doing stop and frisk on Wall Street, literally would be fired in a day and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're being generous, Dana.
Yeah, and so but the story goes to perspective.
And like he'd be like reasonable suspicion. These guys tank the economy. I have plenty of suspicion.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you up
And,
to
and by the way,
what
there's
trades did you make?
emails.
Who talked to you about these trades? You get any tips on these trades? Was there any insider trading involved? It sounds like it's just my suspicion. So I'm just going to pat you down a little bit. I'm going to take you in, ask you some questions. I got nothing. I'll turn you loose.
Oh, by the way, look, I patted you down. I found $1 billion you took from the taxpayers. Okay, JR.
We like a little bit of wild speculation. I know you can't hear me, but what's his name? Earl Sampson? Is that his
Earl
name?
Sampson.
Earl Sampson.
Earl Sampson had sex with one of those cops' daughters.
He must have done something to really
That's-
irritate
Yeah.
that cop. I don't know what it is.
We've all been harassed. We've all been, profiled while driving while black. It's happened to me many times. But the numbers behind this are outrageous.
Yeah.
Like, this is a concerted police effort. He's like, hey, you guys, Earl Sampson works at the Quick Stop. He had sex with my daughter. Let's go get him. Let's bother him for the rest of this year. This is way further than anything I've ever heard before.
Yeah.
Also, maybe this guy's just doing it because he's like, look, you keep taking my employee in. I need him working.
Yeah.
You're costing me money. This
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Yeah, again, a Beverly Hills store owner complains about the cops arresting his employee for trespassing while they're working at his shop. Again, maximum of a day and a half before that cop gets fired.